Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Jorn. I'm the CEO at Wordapp, and I'll be hosting this webinar today. If you guys have any questions or you want to discuss anything, please use the live chat. If you write something there, I'll be able to see it. I will answer it throughout the webinar. Just to start with a safe harbor statement, during this webinar, we'll be discussing some of the features in Wordapp that are not live yet. Some of these features might not be published in the near future, so I just want to make you guys aware of that. Some of the things we'll be discussing today are a very brief introduction to Wordapp. I know that some of you guys are already using Wordapp, some of you are not. After that, we'll be discussing how to structure a slot review and how you can have Wordapp help you with this. We'll be discussing how to write the perfect slot review. We'll talk a bit about what you can do to scale production as either someone who orders slot reviews or as a writer yourself if you want to build your own team of slot review writers. And at the very end, we'll also have a quick Q&A where you guys can ask questions and I will answer those. As I said, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, please use the chat. Then I can answer those questions as they come in. So Wordapp is a self-service WordPressing platform, which means that we give writers and other people the opportunity to use Wordapp for free if you work with your own team, or you can use the crowd to source content. The way we make it easier for people to work with content is by adding a lot of features that we've learned during our time as an agency. Most of the guys here, we used to work in an agency called Copy Panthers. And some of the things that we noticed there is that it is extremely difficult to build a content writing team that is bigger than 20, 30, 40 writers in a language, simply because one, you cannot teach enough people. Two, the turnover is very high, so you keep on learning, teaching new stuff to people. And three, it's very difficult to make sure that the quality of text is good enough for people to work with. So that's why we developed Wordapp. Some of the good things about Wordapp and some of the guys that are working already, you can see it already, is that we use a task feed, which means that when you log in, unlike programs like Upwork, you can directly see which work is available for you. And this is all optimized by machine learning. So that means that your task feed is completely unique to you. We're doing a lot of improvements there in the coming weeks where you can only see tasks that are really good for you, where your hourly rate is very high. We have a bunch of built-in third-party services like a plagiarism scan, but also recommendation engines and things like that. And overall, right now, we have about 1,000 active users a month, people who write, order content, manage projects, and all these things. So it's becoming like a real platform that makes word processing a lot easier than an agency model. So when it comes to slot reviews, the important thing is first to structure your text. And what works very well here is that in Wordapp, we have something called a template builder. And when you work as a writer in Wordapp, you will see that all the text in Wordapp are built up out of template items. And those can be headers like an H1, it can be paragraphs, meta titles, meta descriptions, and all these specific template items, they have instructions, but they also have attached rules. And by structuring a slot review before you start writing, and this is only something you really have to do once, obviously over time you might want to change your template a bit, but by giving it some thought in the beginning, it will be very, very easy to write text afterwards. For us, this is a value-added service that Wordapp offers to premium clients, where you can see a lot of benefit for the writers because all the texts are structured exactly the same way. And two, for all the projects in Wordapp, it's always the same. So you basically have a good idea of where to find the information that you need. So what I want to discuss now is the structure of a slot review text. We have quite some experience here. Over the last 2 years, I think that we have written about 10,000 slot reviews for different clients in different languages. And one of the most successful slot reviews is a template that is about 500 words. And I just want to go through the structure with you guys so you have a bit of an idea of how we came up with this structure, but also where to find information to actually write a text like this. For any of you guys who have experience with SEO, you know that keywords are extremely important when structuring a text. Unlike normal agency models where people have to find their own keywords, in Wordapp you have a chance to actually provide keywords to your writers. And by doing so, you can get a lot of SEO value out of your text without a writer actually having to worry about delivering specific keywords and finding those keywords. So the text starts off with an H1 header. H1 header is basically the game name plus a slot. So for instance, hottest hate slot, and then a short call to action. Slot reviews, from our experience, always need to focus on the money aspect. That's what people like. That's why people go to slot reviews, to see where they can make money and what they can actually find. So I'll be discussing an actual slot review in a bit, but this is more the structure of how we structure it. So we start with an H1 and an H2. The H2 is really the attention grabber here. And with slot reviews, it is extremely important to make sure that you follow the theme of the game. A lot of the slot reviews are extremely theme heavy, and to reflect that in a review really puts your review over the top. A good example is for example, the Hot of Hates slot game. One of the writers who wrote a review for this, he had a first H2 header that says play Hot as Hates and fire off a new adventure. It's very clear, it fits into the theme, and it's just exciting to read. After that, an introductory paragraph. And in this paragraph, which is for us usually about 100 words, want to keep it short, you write a quick brief about the game, where you just want to catch the attention of the reader. And the places where I, as a writer, would normally get the information for this from is one, the game developer. Obviously, on the game developer's website, you will see some marketing promotions, promotional material where you find a lot of good information. But two, what I very often do as well is I go to YouTube and I simply look for the game. So if I look for Hottest Hates in YouTube, I'm just switching screens. You see that if you look at a short video like this, you can see the entire team. You have some music, you see what the game looks like, you see the characters, which symbols are used. And this will really help you throughout the game to actually get into the mood and see what it is that the manufacturer of the game wants to show to the people playing this game. So that's where, for the introduction, the beginning part of the slot review, I get a lot of information myself. Then when we move on, we want to talk more about the different features of the game, the functions, and also, of course, the gameplay. Again, we do an H2 header. And in this H2 header, you want to make sure that you highlight some of the features of the game. So, I mean, free spins, magic. You want to, again, make sure that people understand what the theme of this game is. Keywords that we use are usually the features in the game. So we very often advise clients to pre-process this. So to give how many pay lines are there, how many reels, what the RTP is, just to help the writer to get along and to find the right information about this game. If this is not pre-processed by the client, or if you don't feel like pre-processing this yourself when you set up a game, what I always do is I look at other slot reviews. So, for instance, for Miss Mida's slot, if I go to another website that offers slot reviews, I not only can play the game here, but I also, if I scroll down a bit, let me just see. So here we have slot information, and this gives me a lot of information that people who read slot reviews are looking for. For example, how many reels, how many pay lines, minimum, maximum bets, I can see here as well. I see that there's a jackpot, the free spins, multipliers. It gives me a lot of information about the particular game. And again, I can see the theme of the game. What is going on? What does it look like? What is the music like? And all those things. So other slot reviews, by just Googling the name of the slot plus slot review are extremely helpful for writing your own slot review. And you especially want to focus, of course, on the terminology. I mean, very often it is that you want to give the same information in any slot review I write, which is the technical information, but also, of course, the theme. So that's the second part of the text. Third, I always, in the templates that we use, we want to highlight some of the core features of a game. Very often that is free spins, bonus, and jackpots. And we want to write 3 paragraphs about those one by one, every feature explained, where you especially focus on how to get to this feature. So if there's a bonus game, how do you get to this bonus game? What do you need to do? And what extra features do you get here in this bonus game? Again, other slot reviews like the one we just saw are an extremely helpful place to find information about all these features. The advantage of Wordapp is that with the built-in rule checking, we can make sure that one, the word count of all these paragraphs is enough, sufficient. Two, also that we keep the keyword density in the text correct so that we don't screw up any SEO. So that's where the structure of the text is important again. The last real paragraph of the text is what we call the closing arguments. Usually this is a place where, one, you summarize the game, but also where you tell more either about the casino or the slot review site you're writing about. Here you want to give some more global site info. Where do you find this information? You find it in Wordapp under the domain URL. So that's the website where the page will be published. A great place to include unique selling points and these things is this last paragraph. Finally, of course, we also give a small list of top features. This is something where, as you can see, I use some HTML coding here. For you guys who understand it, it's helpful. For the ones who not, you don't have to worry about these things in Wordapp because all HTML coding is preset. But very often, like what we saw in the other slot review, is where we say who's the publisher, how many reels are there in the game, how many pay lines, what's the RTP, all these things we would give in a small list just so that the reader has this information very handy in one place. Meta title, meta description, extremely important for SEO. Something that I personally think you could never, ever, ever have written by a machine. I know that there is plugins like Yoast or Full SEO that provide automated meta title and meta descriptions for pages. I think that is BS. I think if you want a good meta title and description, you need to write those. There's some particular rules for that in terms of character count, how to use keywords. All of those are preset in Wordapp, so you don't have to worry about that. But I mean, since this is what you will see in the SERP in your Google results, this is where you can get your conversion. And again, when writing a meta title and description, focus on, one, the USPs of the game. So why is this a good game? But two, I mean, make people excited. And you do that by using the theme. People use slot games for the teams. Images, something that we do in Wordapp, of course, as well. What is important is that for you can use, we can integrate with image libraries, which means that we can take images directly from the publishers and put them in. And of course, you need to make sure you write an alternative text and alt text for these images for SEO purposes again. So this is how you structure your text when it comes to a slot review. Next, what I want to talk about is one of the previously written slot reviews. And I want to talk a bit about why this is a good slot review. I hope you guys can all see it so that you see what I'm talking about. So this is a slot review written in English for Secret Romance. What I like about this slot review and what I think is very good is some of the stuff I highlighted. So for instance, the first H2 header says play Secret Romance and embark on a romantic adventure. You get right away into the theme of the game. And you also highlight in the second H2 very clearly what it is that you can win here. So it's very much focused on the USP of the game. So this is the paragraph that we talked about that talks about the gameplay, game features, and all the unique selling points of the game. And you see that the writer here, he used the developer of the game. It's a game from Microgaming. It explains how many reels, how many pay lines. It talks about the theme, the color of love, some red, some pink. It's very descriptive. Whenever you write a slot review, you want to be descriptive. You want to make sure that people get into that mode. Minimum bets, maximum bets, very helpful when you're looking for a slot game. So definitely something that needs to be highlighted in the slot review. Symbols. So what are the main symbols and what do those symbols stand for? So you have also, of course, lower value symbols. And then, so that is, it's very terminology heavy, but this is how you write a slot review. And it's very often that you want to use this exact same information, particular to that slot game. Maximum win. Other symbols, so this is very gameplay. So you can activate the super stack mystery symbols feature by, and then how you actually get to that feature. Free spend multipliers, scatter symbols, and of course that it's available on different devices. You can find this information very often either in other slot reviews, where I get a lot of my information myself, or you can go to the developers, so the manufacturer of the game. They always have this information available either in a PDF or some marketing page. And here we see the three different paragraphs that all focus on the features of the game: bonus, free spins, and jackpots. Again, we want to keep the theme of the game, fall in love with the free spins feature, which of course works for Secret Romance, and explains how many free spins there are, how many multipliers, and all these things. You want to be very, very structured when writing a slot review. The first slot reviews you write will take you a while, but the more you get familiar with where to find the information, the faster it goes. What Wordapp does to help is that, of course, we have built-in sample text. And you can see text like this particular to the game with their own particular format, where you see really what the information is that the client is looking for, or where you can convey the information that you're looking for yourself. When people set up their own projects in Wordapp, we basically don't allow you to start a project unless you have a sample text yourself. Because with an example text like this, Wordapp can automatically create your template, but it can also show you which keywords you want to use in the text. So that's the template feature that we discussed already. Some other things that Wordapp offers is, of course, a workflow where you can get very quick feedback without actually having to leave the system, which really helps, if you just start writing slot reviews or where you have new writers on your project. Plus, Wordapp can offer negative keywords. That means certain words that you don't want to use, which is very helpful if you use slot reviews in terms of affiliate marketing or things like that, where you don't want to mention competitors. So this is very much about how to write a slot review. Get familiar with the terminology and structure your text. The sample text in Wordapp, look at one of the existing slot review texts. it's very, very helpful to see what is expected. Then, I mean, for the guys who either source slot reviews themselves, or some of you guys, you might actually work with slot reviews in your own language, but also have a client asking you to write in other languages. With Wordapp, which you can use free for your own team, but you can also access a crowd, for example, for languages that you don't speak yourself. It is extremely easy based on a example text to get the crowd to work on your project and give you the exact same text that you want. So the workflow we very often use for this is based out of 3 roles. 1, a writer; 2, an editor, checking for spelling and grammar, making sure that there's no language mistakes in the text and that the text is according to instructions. And then you, as a client, are in a publisher role, or you can dedicate a publisher, very often an experienced writer that you've worked with before, who approves every single text. The advantage of that is that you basically become 30, 40 times more productive because you don't have to write the text yourself, you can just approve them. Publishing is available on mobile, which means that it is way, way faster. And with the built-in APIs, you can connect it directly to your website so that whenever you approve a text, it is directly published and available for the Google search engines to index. So that's something how a lot of people use Wordapp. It's how you write a slot review in Wordapp. At the moment, we have projects where you can work on yourself. In Sweden, we have a lot of slot reviews. English, we're getting a lot of slot reviews in the coming weeks. Same for Finnish. So anyone interested in writing some slot reviews, definitely check out Wordapp and check if there's slot reviews in your language. If you're interested in setting up your own projects, please do contact me. I can help you set it up, and I can show you how to get the most advantage out of Wordapp. So that's how it would basically work. Do you guys have any questions that you want to discuss? If you put them in the chat, then I can answer them from there. I'll give you guys a moment. Okay, if there's no questions, then I'll be closing this webinar up. Please do follow us on social media. On Facebook, we have some particular groups for Swedish users, Finnish users, Norwegian users of Wordapp, where the crowd is usually extremely helpful in helping everyone along. Also, you can find me online. Just write me either on LinkedIn, or you can write me an email. If you have any questions, you just put my email here, and then I can answer those for you as well. I see Martina had one question. Is there a possibility to get these tips in email? Definitely. I can share with you guys the presentation. I will do that after we close this up. And what I say, if you have any questions, either email me directly or through Facebook, LinkedIn, go online and get what is going on. Thank you all for joining. I hope you guys found this very helpful. As I said, please check out Wordapp, and if you want to set up your own projects, do contact me so that I can help you get started. And I wish you guys already a very nice weekend. Thanks for joining all.